So, Jared, everyone gives terrible insomnia advice. Have you tried just relaxing?
Yeah.
You're like, no, I try sleeping aggressively.
Sometimes that's what it takes.
You're like, yeah, I just been pacing around like a football coach. Don't know what to do. So I feel like you struggle with insomnia a little bit, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like, people giving advice on something that if they don't struggle with it, then it's just like, hey, what are you doing? Just stop doing that. Or why don't you just sleep?
Just don't be gay. That's I always think of.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, it's the classic South Park.
Yes. The one that, the best one I would hear is, why are you worried? Just don't be worried. It's like, oh, thanks. My problems are solved now. Thanks for saying that.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Hey, welcome back to Screen Time Film, a podcast where we discuss a director's filmography in chronological order. We are early days of Nolan.
Journey to the Odyssey.
Yeah, and this is, that's right. And this is our journey to the Odyssey. Yeah. Yes.
Can't forget to say that.
Hashtag journey to the Odyssey.
We got to start the hashtag.
Yeah. Start the movement.
Yeah.
Join the movement. So Jared, a good podcaster can't sleep because he's missing a piece of the story. And a bad podcaster can't sleep because his conscience won't let him.
Very good. I did not have that down in my head.
All right.
That's nice.
All right. Well, my name's Josh, and this is my co-host, Jared.
Josh, it's all about the small stuff. Small lies, small mistakes. It's human nature.
Yeah, that's a good one. The other one I liked was, I guess it's about what you thought was right at the time, and then what you're willing to live with.
Ooh, I don't have that one down either.
I like that one. There's
a lot of good lines in this movie. I have two more.
Yeah.
Mine is, life is so important. How can it be so fragile? And then, Josh, you're a good man. I know that, even if you've forgotten. I chose mostly all Robin Williams.
Thanks for saying that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Let's see, if you're feeling down, that's the one I was going to pull out.
Yeah. All right, so today we are going to we'll go over a little bit of some of the stats and data on the film, then our overall thoughts, no spoilers, then we'll go into spoiler discussion, discuss cinematography, score, trivia, and then our thoughts on the themes and messages, and then final thoughts. All right, so let's get into some of the stats. So this came out in 2002, rated R, hour and 58 minutes. Our IMDb synopsis: a young writer who follows strangers for wrong synopsis. Did not. Well, this is like, I forgot to change it twice because this is still the one from.
Well, does it? Because sometimes I gotta double check if notes actually, if you're on a different device. Sometimes the notes,
but like
don't
everything else updated,
right?
So.
But sometimes it's not everything. It's really annoying. I always like, what you do is you quit out the app and open it again, and it does sync right away. It's annoying. Because I've had it happen to me many times. I'm looking it up.
Yeah. Oh, but anyway, this is directed by Christopher Nolan, obviously. So, writers Hilary Seitze, Nicola. Anyway, it's a bunch of Norwegian names because this film is based on a Norwegian film that came out in 1997.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Yeah.
And this is the only film that Nolan does not have a writing credit on.
Yeah.
That he's directed. And I think you can see that in this.
Oh yeah. It's definitely different than all his other films. Yeah. I looked up the other movie, and Stellan Skarsgård is the main person in it. I didn't recognize anyone else in it, but that makes sense if it's he said Swedish, Norwegian. Yeah.
So we've got our same cinematographer, Wally Fitzer, and then our composer, David Julian.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and read the synopsis, and then we'll do...
Yeah, it's very short. A Los Angeles detective chases a murder suspect in a remote Alaskan town.
production costs. What do you think, Jared?
Well, definitely a lot more because of the actors. I don't think it's like crazy, so I'm gonna say, I'll go with what I wrote down: 50 million.
It's close, 46.
Okay, I've been pretty close in most of these so far.
It was a big jump from. It was like 9 million for the last one.
Yeah, I knew it had to be. Just wasn't sure how much more.
All right, so cast. We got some big heavy hitters here. We got Al Pacino, Robin Williams, Hilary Swank, and then you have Martin Donovan and Moria Turney. How are you? Your last name?
Not really.
I just think of Liar Liar.
Oh yeah,
with her. Just because
that's the one I always think of.
First thing I think I saw her in, and
yes,
and of course I feel like more often she's more like this, where it's like more of a side character, and that she's a little bit more front and center.
Yep.
Anyway, but she's still great in this.
Yeah, she didn't really do much, but yeah,
but the part she does, it's good.
Yeah.
All right. So, what are your thoughts on this film? Because I think we discussed this, but neither of us had seen this movie before.
Yes. This is the
this besides that the very first besides following. I always keep wanting to say the following.
Not the following. Yeah.
Besides following, this was the only other Nolan film I had not seen.
Same. Yeah. Yeah. As we go from here, we've seen all the other ones until our journey is complete.
Yes.
To the Odyssey.
So,
I thought this was. I really like the. Essentially, it was a psychological thriller, and I always like this kind of films. And this was, I thought, done really well, and I really like how character focused it was. It was definitely what you like to say when these kind of movies, you call it a character study, I guess is what you normally would call it. So I like all that, especially when you have such great actors. That really helps with that. And so, yeah, I really liked it. You're right, though. It definitely doesn't feel like a Nolan film, but I still really liked it.
From a story standpoint.
Yeah.
Like it definitely.
Make that clarification.
I think it feels like it from again. So yeah. So I thought it was decent, straightforward crime drama that I think is elevated a little bit from the performances.
Yeah.
But this is not. I mean, these are not the kind of things I watch. And I'm like, I don't watch the TV shows that are like this either. Like it's not. I don't know. I think what, most of the time I like to be taking out of reality a little bit in my entertainment. And so straight crime dramas are just too, it's too close to home, like of what real life is, right?
Yeah.
Even though I don't deal with, not like I'm a cop or something. I don't deal with it. But I think just when I want to sit down and be entertained, I want something to have at least something about it that kind of takes me out of reality. And I think, so that's why I don't like watch true crime stuff very much either for that reason.
Yeah, I don't either watch that. Yeah.
But, anyway, that's but it seemed like a decent one of this type of film, right?
Yeah.
Had some nice little twists and stuff a little bit. And but like, it's not, I would say it's not like some of the, like Seven, which I love that film, even though again, that would be in the same vein, right? Like cop.
Yeah, but that's like the best one.
Right. But I'm just saying there's some out there like that I think, are clever enough. Like this one has like some stuff that's a little bit, but like not enough for me to be like, oh, that was really clever. That was really, it's a lot, but it is more about the psychological, I think.
Yes.
And that part I did like.
For sure. So that aspect though is very Nolan.
Yes.
So like that part of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is maybe why he was drawn to it.
Yeah. And also why that's probably why that part of the film is so good is probably his influence. I don't know how much the original story is.
What inspires him from the script to push, right, is probably that area of it.
Yeah. I imagine he really likes the original film. And I think he wanted to try to do this,
because I don't. Again, we talk about this, but I don't really look up stuff beforehand.
Yep.
Until after I watch the film, so I was kind of going into this expecting kind of like a bigger plot twist because of it being a Nolan film, and then there really wasn't, and that definitely kind of, I don't know, disappointed in it a little bit maybe, but like, or maybe it was, so I think maybe that expectation was in there. And then of course later looking, and I was like, oh, he didn't write it. And then like, it starts to make sense, right?
Definitely.
All right, well, we want to get into some of the stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I already mentioned my first note about the original film. I kind of want to check it out and see how it is compared to this, especially now that I know, I mean, at least there's one person I know.
Yeah, I do know there's significant differences. It was in trivia.
Okay.
I think did I put that one in? I don't remember if I put that one in because I pick and choose and try not to go do too much. But there was some of the stuff about the differences in that there's a lot less nuance to the character's moral.
Oh, interesting.
In the original, like it's more obvious, more like, oh, he's not a good cop.
Okay. Well, in that aspect, I like what they did in this one better than.
Yeah, I would agree.
Wrestle with that the whole time.
I agree.
Yep.
All right, so the setup, I guess, like our intro, other than just we're in Alaska, cop from LA, PD up there to quote unquote help with the case.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately you get that line where he's like, well, let's go pull him out of school, and they're like, well, it's 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, the sun doesn't set here. So like, you don't know until that point. You just assume it's daytime because you don't know. But also think it's interesting because we had a year or so, maybe 2 years ago. It's been a little bit. What's the true crime?
I immediately thought of that too.
True Crime season 4?
True Detective, yeah.
True Detective, not True Crime. True Detective season 4.
Yep.
Where they set it in Alaska, and it was the opposite though.
Yeah,
it was
that
like,
time of year it was
the other end of it where it's like nighttime for 2 weeks straight, and then the whole time it takes place. And this is like the opposite when it's like the middle of summer up there. And
yeah, it is so interesting. I mean, obviously I've never been there or lived there, but that would be, I guess if you live there, you get used to it, but it's just so weird that there's a part of, somewhere where it can just always be day or always night.
Yeah. I remember that. It's so funny. I remember like nowadays, I can sleep. It's fine. And you pull a curtain or whatever.
But that plays really good to the plot of someone already have insomnia and then having to deal with that.
Yeah. But I remember as a kid, like in the summertime when it wouldn't get dark till 9, and it would be hard to fall asleep.
It's brutal. Yeah. When you
were like, no,
you had to go to bed before then.
Yeah. And you're like, it's light out.
Yeah.
So that's I don't know. Like it could be.
Oh yeah.
It could be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we kind of get I think the next like kind of interesting thing is we get the setup for that he's being investigated, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is one of the weaker parts, I think, to the storyline, because I think they don't give you enough to understand understand the gravity of it.
You mean at the beginning when they first? Okay, yeah.
Just that, like, you're sitting there at the dinner and you're just like, what? And he's like arguing with him. I feel like if we had a little bit more backstory there, a little bit more understanding, then
of why they're arguing. Then
like later, which I'm jumping a little bit ahead, but like then when he accidentally shoots him, it would be more because we're here. I guess to frame that for me, the accidental shooting really felt like an accident.
Oh yeah.
And then it's not till he's questioning it himself that you're like, oh, okay, maybe, and you're like, but no, it really was an accident. Where I think if you set it up just a little bit more where he has motive, then you would in the moment question it.
Yes, but all of that what you're talking about, I think is intentional, and I like the way they did it in this, to where you don't know. Yeah, in the moment you think it was an accident because you don't know why they're arguing, and then you don't know to way later.
You don't really
everything. Yeah. And obviously they want it to be that way.
Maybe it's intentional that way.
Yeah, I think it is, and Actually, I prefer it that way because then you're with you're not with,
as the viewer, you're kind of progressing with him psychologically.
Yes.
Is that kind of your...
Yeah, but not completely, because obviously we're with him the whole time, so we're feeling a lot. And obviously with cinematography, we can get into also like the disorienting feel of how he's feeling. But then the main crucial thing we don't know until way later is if it really was an accident or not of him shooting. They weren't really partners though. They were together for a long time. They knew each other, but I don't think they ever said they were actual partners.
Well, they were partners
in LA.
Up there, at least.
They were there, yeah, but not. They just had a history of working the same, because they talk about in the department.
And then it was also,
in LA.
Again, the part that was confused was like why he felt like he needed to give up the information, almost like he was being pressured for something, like almost like he had done something not correct, and they caught him, and then
maybe, yeah,
because he says, he's like, I got a family, I got a, whatever. Just like that whole thing, I felt like if it's way more important to the story, but in that moment, and they're sitting there eating, or trying to eat, and then they never, because he's like, I lost my appetite, and he gets up. But in that moment, like, you don't understand, and they don't explain enough for you to even like care about the conversation, I guess is why I was like, this is weird. And then it's much later you realize, oh, that was kind of an important conversation.
Yeah, very important. Yeah.
So anyway, that I just feel like they maybe could have given a little bit more there that would have helped me understand, because most of the time, like, we are aware as much as our main character is, right? Like we were just talking about, but in that moment you're not, like, he knows more than we do, and that's where it's like kind of off to me, because otherwise most of the film is from that perspective, right? Like, we get his perspective, and so we as an audience pretty much know about the same as he does, what's truth and not, and things like that, right? And so, but that's a moment where we don't, and I think that's where it fell off because of that.
Okay,
I think it needed to be explained a little bit more so that we would be on the same page as him going forward.
I'm trying to think but I think that's kind of Nolan's way, though. He does that in a lot of things. When it comes to the psychological side, I think he wants to, think about the following, not the following, there is a lot of that where you are intentionally confused with what's going on. So, and as we go through the rest of his films, because I don't remember everything in all of them, it's going to be interesting going back to some of them, like Inception, which is like very confusing, all the way to Tenet, which is the most confusing film out of them all. I
don't feel like Inception is confusing, but
it can be a time. No, it's not as much. Tenet is by far the most, which I really want to rewatch that one anyway. Yeah, because
I mean, I do. I remember and we don't want to get too sidetracked.
Yeah,
but I remember it being like I don't remember it being confusing. I just remember it being like blowing my mind. Like
Tenet?
Yeah, the amount of like
definitely
technical achievement in that film. It's insane. Because
he does that a lot in a lot of his films too.
Well, that one is alone to keep all that logic in your head so that it all works. Because I know they shot some of that stuff backwards on purpose. Some of it's reversed in post. Some of it's in and it's just so much.
I know. I don't know how
it's like I just the editor alone, like to keep, and they did, I think, win for editing
probably
that year. And we'll obviously talk about that in a month or two, whatever, how long it takes. But
my point is just, I think he does that in a lot of his films where you are intentionally confused. Let's say at the beginning of the film, but then as it goes, then following. And then you understand a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, I think, and
that might be a change from the original script and film. I don't know.
Yeah.
That he wanted to add to.
I guess my point is, if you're going with the fact that the audience is going to be, the surrogate for the audience is their main character.
Yep.
And we're going to be in the same, because sometimes you're not. Like, sometimes you're like, more, right?
Yes.
And when you watch. And
depends on what kind of film you want to make.
Yeah, but in this case, that logic is there most of the time. So then my point is like in this area, it was like kind of like a misstep then.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Like, yeah, I'm not saying one choice is better than the other from a storytelling standpoint, but like if you make that choice, you should stick to it. And I feel like this was where, anyway, but we don't need to, it's enough harping on that. I think then, you know, some of the other stuff that's fun and is like where your quote about the little details and just this is when they check out the girl's room and some of the other stuff and the stuff he's picking up on that these local cops, and it kind of sets up that also like, I want to say like celebrity status that he has, because you know the Hilary Swank's character has heard of him, right? Like she's like
a fangirling out.
Yeah, because I guess he is a famous LAPD detective that's put a lot of people, you know, or done a lot of good, quote unquote. And so then I guess, I mean, I'm not a cop, so but it'd be the same as, you know, me liking a specific director or somebody and being like, oh, I'm inspired by them. I assume some up and coming police officers would find certain people, right, to like kind of learn from and look to as a mentor, even if you don't actually know each other.
Yes.
And so that's kind of, I think we're set up here and what we see here.
Yeah, and I think it's also because where she is, and I mean, there probably doesn't need to be that many cops in that specific town in Alaska. So like, she's probably not so busy all the time. There was time where she's just following this guy, you know, reading about him because she's just, you know, I imagine there's downtime there, you know, so. Especially when something like this big comes along, I guess that's why they are getting outside people involved anyway, because something like this doesn't happen that often. So also it's interesting that I was just thinking about it, not that many, there's like Al Pacino is just, he's done a lot of cop roles, I'm just now realizing. Which is great. I mean, I guess that's also maybe why he wanted to get him in this.
Mob roles too.
Yeah. Cop and mob.
Both sides.
He does, yeah. So, maybe that's partially why Nolan wanted to get him in this.
Yeah.
But,
man.
It's funny, also just seeing him in this. I looked up because I was like, how old is Al Pacino in this? Because he's just... There was a point where he just like
never aged,
huh?
Like, he didn't age. Like there's a point where like he looked the same.
Yeah, but there's like, I mean, we covered Godfather and he's really young in that. But then there's like a point where he just like then there was like a big jump in how he looked, like age wise.
Well,
and
yes,
then
you're right, because like Godfather he looks really young, but then like by like 80s some point, he also looked old.
Yep.
But then he looked the same. From that point for like decades, right? So, which in this case, like he looks, I think, older than probably what he is. So, how old is he?
He was. Well, I was surprised because I was trying to figure out like how old he look.
You look at him in this film, like he looks older than our dad in this film.
Yes, but he was,
which would mean
late 50s, early 60s. I think is when they said he was when he's filming this.
So, like, you know, about 10, 15 years younger than he looks. So, all right. Or he looks 15 to 20 years older than he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say that.
Yes.
Which, sorry.
Yeah. Well, I think, I don't know. He might have, because that big of a change, I know older actors, like it kind of just happened. Like, especially when we talk about like actors from the 70s, they just always looked older anyway. And now it's kind of the opposite. Actors now just always want to look younger, but I don't know. He might have had like work done. I don't know if he ever did, but it is just weird. Yeah, it's just like there's just this hard moment where it's just like he just aged a lot.
Yeah,
it's weird. But then, I mean, that's just looks wise. But then it's just like, just because it's been a while since I've watched a movie with him, it's just like you forget how good of an actor he is. Like, there's a reason why he was one of the best.
All right, so then we get, I think, at least my next like thing is goes like his way to catch the criminal his genius and like really. So this is where like, and there's like little stuff you're like, okay, like, so it was a great idea, right? Put it out there, put it back out there, and then trap and set it up. So then the criminal shows up, but then of course the idiot cop like bumps the megaphone thing or whatever and spooks him. Of course, which is like, that's the little thing where it's like, okay, you know, like, so this whole movie could have been avoided, which even they have that line in there later.
Yeah.
He's like, if I only hadn't done that.
Yeah.
So it's almost like,
yeah, it's
very
annoying.
self-aware of that.
It's annoying, but I mean, you can believe it though, because at a police station like
dumb
that,
stuff happens.
well, yeah, in general, but I mean, especially a police station like that, where like, again, they, you know, they might get people that at that police department that just aren't that experienced and just would do something dumb like that, you know?
Yeah.
'Cause it's not like Hillary Swank does that.
Right.
Because she's obviously,
yeah.
And I keep saying her because I don't remember.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember most of their names.
I have a few written down, the main two, but
yeah,
it's also just interesting seeing her in this because it's like, I haven't seen her in a long time, but she was very big in the early 2000s.
Yes.
But like not anymore. So
true. I haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah, I don't know what's
what she's
most
up to.
recent thing she's in, but
well, sometimes people just shift into other roles or decide to have, especially women, decide to have kids and to kind of take a decade or so off of. But
yeah, but then I don't
sometimes
know if
people step into more producing, directing, and writing, and get away from.
But if she did that, I don't know if she ever came back, because we talked about that with Jennifer Connelly specifically, because she did do that. She was very big even around this time, up to the early 2000s, and then stopped acting for a while, I believe, to have kids, and then now she's back again, or she's been back a while acting again. So I don't know if Hillary Swank ever came back or not. I don't know.
But then this chase in the fog. This stuff was this part was. I mean, I thought that was really all done. Like just the disorienting of it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And it kind of, he's like the insomnia is really starting to set in already. Just because like the first kind of hint of that, like being like he is not sleeping well, and so that's kind of starting already to add to his, or affecting his ability to do his job.
Yep.
Subtly at this point, but then the fog and everything is
it doesn't help.
It makes it way worse. And then of course we get the pivot or pinnacle, whatever you're gonna call it, point of this story, where he accidentally shoots his partner, which keeps his partner from snitching on him about, I guess, some fudging some evidence in the case.
There was something in the past case.
We don't really, again, we don't know enough details to know. But then also, when he starts questioning himself, which at first he knew, it was an accident, but then this is where he starts down the path, as we see, covering his tracks.
Yeah, you're wondering why he's doing that. Yeah.
Because he, because obviously that shot was different bullet than the other shot of the guy that got shot in the leg.
Picks up the gun.
So then he tries to switch that out so that just like continued down this like one, it was like cover up after another to make the other, or like one lie to cover the other lie to another lie, kind of thing.
Yeah, which then is like, it's even more interesting him saying that line to Hillary Swank, because it's like he's saying that's like something you got to pay attention to, like the small details, but then it's like also, it's like, I got to also now think of that for myself.
Correct.
In this situation, which I guess is a good thing that he is so aware of that, and he can kind of,
well, he's doing a good job at first, but then
that changes.
More disorienting and insomnia sets in then, which is, that's kind of the next note of like the sleep deprivation, the effects of that on him. The sound design for that, especially as it progresses, is really good.
It is. And the cinematography, which we will get into, is really cool. The way they do all that. I think I did have something I should have mentioned a little earlier, because it would have been right after he mentions, like, let's go to the school, and it's like all the time, it's 10 o'clock at night or whatever. I really liked So Will is Al Pacino.
Mm-hmm.
Randy is this guy that he interrogates in the class. And I really love this moment where he pulls Randy's chair right up close to him.
Mm-hmm.
In that, and it's just such an awesome like power move intimidation tactic that you see. Like this is one of the first things you see. You're like, okay, he's really good at his
Yeah, when
job.
he
There's a
interrogates
reason.
the boyfriend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
that's
right. I
cool.
did skip that. It was a good scene.
It was, yeah, and just a good insight into his character and why he's so. You're like, okay, this guy is a very good LA cop, and maybe why people follow him that aren't in actually LA, like Hilary Swank. Why she's so familiar with him and probably has read a lot of stuff that he's done.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that scene was great. I think that's it for where we're up to right now.
All right, so I think it's also interesting that we're about halfway through the movie before we even meet the killer,
Yeah, that's another note I had. It's like,
which is like kind of my next note is like,
yeah,
when so well we briefly see him there in the fog, but then finally
you don't know who it is, though.
you don't know, and then so like we don't see Robin Williams'
Mhm.
face
Till about halfway through the
about
film.
like an hour into the movie.
Because at first you hear him on the phone. That's the first you hear him at all. And then, then you do finally see him. Yeah, it is like really far in. And I was just surprised that like, I thought he would be in it more or show up sooner.
Yeah, especially for a prominent actor like that.
Yeah, especially in the early 2000s. Yeah.
Yeah. The so, but again, this is another where there's the Hilary Swank's character, I can't remember her name, the younger detective. You know,
I'm gonna look at
she
it 'cause
brings. I have it up here. I mean, I literally
Do you?
have it. Yeah, because I put it with all the
okay. Because
Ellie Burr.
there we go.
Problem is, I don't put it in my notes later.
I do
Because-
sometimes depending on my
yeah.
note. Yeah. What is,
So
'Cause,
she finds
Robin Williams is Walter,
finds
yeah.
the book. Well, they finally get out of them that he gave a name, or the girl or murder victim had a name for this guy that she was, and of course, it was code name.
Yeah.
And then it turns out it was like the name of the character in the book or whatever, and then the author. And then it turns out that's a local author just the next town over.
Right. And they mentioned that this girl had like all of his books,
Right.
or a lot of them.
So, I mean, it is a little, again, one of those things is a little bit, I mean, it's plays into that, like all the little details, but then it is a little quick jump to the conclusion situation there.
It
Like,
is, yeah.
But anyway, he, our, main guy figures that out. And so goes and finds this guy's house, apartment, breaks into it. And then, again, finds him. But then the guy is getting away, and they kind of chase him through this other town. And I love this scene where they're going across the logs.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I put that, like,
This was done really well.
done well. Not something, I don't know, there's something about that was like, felt very, dangerous, obviously, but yet, and then of course him falling under and then them kind of closing up on him.
Yeah.
It's like, I was like, that's, and it, yeah. And it's not something you see all the time. I mean,
No.
It was felt very different and unique.
That whole part did. I was going to say the part right before it actually reminded me a lot of Seven, because it's like when they go into the killer's apartment, but then like he's outside of it and sees them and then like runs like that. That happens in Seven. And then there's a chase, but the chase in this is so different. And obviously the chase in Seven is amazing too. But like, yeah, that part though, the logs, everything, all that was awesome. And yeah, when it was very effective when he was underwater too. Because I don't know how claustrophobic you are, but I am very, and I could really feel it in that moment. So they obviously did a good job with that too. Because yeah, he ends up going all the way to the dock to have to get out and go up the ladder.
Yes. And then he's cold. So he goes back to the guy's apartment. He's wet and cold.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Then he calls him.
And then Robin Williams' character.
Walter Finch, yeah.
Walter calls his house. And he's talking to the answer machine.
He's there.
And he's like, knows he's there. And he's like, I know you're there.
Like, take a shower.
Yeah. But this is where he reveals that he knows, well, at some point in one of these phone calls, he knows he saw him accidentally shoot his partner.
Yeah.
And then he also is kind of like, we're not that different. We both accidentally killed somebody, because he's claiming he didn't murder this girl. He just accidentally killed her.
I feel like that's the line that has to be in every movie like this. Like,
yeah.
You and I are not that different.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's a classic one. You got to always put that in there.
The bad guy and the good guy. We're not that different.
Yeah.
And you're like, well.
Which sometimes is true, sometimes not. But they always got to say it anyway.
But I think these are the things that are eroding his confidence that it was an accident. Like, the more time goes by, the more lack of sleep, the more.
Oh, yeah.
And then the more like he hears Walter telling him things.
I have one other thing. It's around now, or maybe right before, but I love any time I mention to it, like later in the Godfather saga, because he doesn't do it at first, but because later on in his career. But I love when Pacino yells and goes full Pacino, which he only does like once or twice in this. It's very, very subtle most of the time, which I also appreciate when he does a role like that. But there's a moment where he does yell and go full Pacino when he's showing, I think don't remember which girl, but he's showing the girl. Oh, it's the girl where her best friend's body is dumped, and he yells at her, wrapped up in garbage bags. And I was like, there it is. There's the
full Pacino.
Yeah, there's full Pacino, which is great. So I was glad that he got one of those in here. But most of the time he's not, which is good too. Like, he doesn't have to always do the stereotypical Pacino, because at this point he was definitely fully from like 80s and 90s Pacinos when he went that way. Because maybe not in the Godfather 3 would be when they did it later, but Godfather 1 and 2 he wasn't quite there yet.
Well, then the other classic is Devil's Advocate. It's another one.
That's the big he goes oh yeah, that one's great. I love that movie.
Yes. Or he's basically playing the devil. Yep.
And that would have been only 5 years before this. I believe that was 97. So yeah. So like I'm glad one of those.
That's it. I have to go back and look, but I don't think he looks that old in that one.
No.
There was another point between these two movies.
In these 5 years,
he aged a lot.
He did.
Like physically looking. Yeah.
Because one of my favorite movies, Heat, was 95. That was only 2 years before that. He looks the same in that as he does in The Devil's Advocate. So that mid-90s range. So yeah, you're right. I think that's also why I looked it up, because I was like, man, he does look really different than what I remembered from around this time. So I don't know what happened, but yeah, he did. He definitely aged in those 5 years a lot.
Yeah, maybe. He made a deal with the devil.
Yeah, maybe you went too far with that character. And who knows?
So then we get, basically the pupil becomes the master, right? Like Ellie's character starts suspecting Will, and that he's doing tampering with evidence, which means then makes it look worse. Like, the thing is, if he didn't do any of this, and just went with it was an accident. I thought it was the guy, and then in the fog, it wouldn't have gotten this bad. But then because he started tampering things and making things worse, switching bullets out, doing, all the things he keeps having to do, layers to cover it up, which then we didn't talk about, but he plants the gun in the killer's apartment, but then he must have found it.
Oh yeah.
And then he alludes to in the boyfriend's house, he says something, and then of course, Pacino's character, he freaks out, and because he so doesn't want, he knows the boyfriend, even though the boyfriend was beating her, was not the killer.
Yep.
and he knows this guy was the killer. So he's like, I don't want, the wrong person to get put in jail, but based on the way it looks, it would be easy for the cops to just assume it was the boyfriend and then put him in jail. But then it also, he's so like neurotic from the insomnia that he's not thinking straight.
It's when they bring Walter in, the interrogation. Yeah, that's when he says that, and he looks right at Will, and he's like, "Oh, maybe they would put it in the grate or whatever." He says the vent. Yeah, yeah, it's an awesome moment.
Baseboard vent or something.
Yeah. My only other note, which is, I mean, it's around now, but it's the first time they finally meet in person, and they're on like this boat, Will and Walter. It's the first time they're having like an actual face-to-face back and forth, and it's just an awesome scene. Like, especially when you just have two really fantastic actors like going back and forth. It's different than obviously when they're on the phone. Like when you actually get the chemistry between them, when it's these two great actors. With some of the best, and we see it later too, but anytime it's just them two interacting, or I think some of the best scenes.
Yeah, which we don't get very much of.
No, we don't.
And it's like, what's the word I want? Like, I'm sure that would be difficult. You have this, the restraint to have as a director to not want to like use that more, especially if you just once you shot one of those scenes and be like, oh my gosh, like the chemistry and how dynamic these two guys are on screen together, to not want to like make that happen. And in reality, I guess he did, because in trivia, we'll get to it later, they did change one thing from the script and that added more Robin Williams in an interaction with.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So then it's, the final confrontation, which gets a little just a shootout and stuff, and you're like, whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just always that kind of scene is always in these kind of films.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're just kind of like, what? Yeah. But the part that really is, one, I would say it felt and looked very believable that they both shot each other at the same time.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that can look very staged.
Yes.
I think it felt really like organic. And so I like that. And then, and then the final interaction with him and Ellie when he's laying there dying. And then they kind of leave it, right? Like, you don't really know if he died or not, right?
No, but I think implies so. He does. Yeah, I know. So they said it again. This is what I hate about like reading the trivia ahead of time. Yeah. Like I changed it up. For those of you, if you've been listening for a while, like I used to just we'd read it on the fly, but then it kind of made things a little awkward. So now I read it ahead of time and pull some, but then it's like I can't remember what I kept in and didn't. Right.
But the original script has him getting like helicoptered off or something, making it look like, oh, he probably survived.
He's all right. Yeah.
But then in the final cut, and they shot it like that way, and then the final cut they decided to leave that out. So I guess like it's where it's at again. Very Nolan, to like leave the ending open-ended,
ambiguous, yeah,
and leave stuff like unknown like that and let you decide.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's still a little. You're like, it kind of feels like he dies, but like
it does. Yeah,
I agree with you, but like you don't really know, and it's not final. But I like how. I do like the interaction with them at the end, where she's like, hang in there, blah, blah, blah. Like, no one needs to know. And she's got the bullet, which is the proof that he tampered with the evidence. And he like stops her, and he's like, no, because it's basically like, don't go down this path, right? Because after one little, I guess, going to the gray, and it's like once you go into the gray, you can't go back, kind of thing. And she's still, quote unquote, clean and hasn't stepped into that. Yeah. And so he's like, don't do it.
He doesn't want her to become him. Yeah. So, even though it is interesting that she's willing to keep it a secret.
Well, I think it's human nature. Is like the quote earlier about doing what's right in the moment.
Yes.
As long as, and then figuring out what you can live with or something, whatever it is. And I think that plays in the right there, like, right, like, because reality, I mean, like, you know, we'd all say I shouldn't say we all, most people I think would say, okay, the greater whole, this was a good cop.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, you're fudging things a little bit to make sure the right people go behind bars, like, right, like, and it's like, and in reality, that's probably happens a lot. Like
definitely. Way more than we even realize.
And in reality, I probably wouldn't disagree most of the time with doing it. Yeah. And in this case, like what she was going to do was like to protect this guy because it really was an accident. She believed it was an accident. You know, his belief originally was that because I think, again, as a viewer, it felt like that. But, you know, with his insomnia and everything, he started questioning himself, right?
It's great at the end of that scene where he's just like, she asked him and he's just like, I don't know anymore.
Yeah. But she believes he you know, he was good. And then, so then it's like to protect him so he can still keep doing good things. Mm-hmm. You know, she's willing to take that risk, right? Like to do that little bit of, again, like.
This is a big theme that when we get into themes, like to mention, I have something written down that goes along these lines. But yeah, this is a big thing with this whole film, obviously. And
I think, I mean, it's something we all struggle with in real life, right? Like
definitely
there's the strict what's right and wrong, but then there's like, but even though this was technically wrong, but then you're protecting the right people, and then it starts to get like
right? Is this better for the greater good overall?
Right. So
to do something maybe not morally as good in the moment. Yeah.
Or it's like, you know, the classic conundrum where it's like, you know, one person or a bunch of people, but the person that you're going to save is like somebody you know, and you don't know these people. It's like,
right? Is it called the train? It's the train something. That's something. Like the original one.
Yeah. And you got to decide. Mm-hmm. It's like, cool. Is that it? You ready?
That's it for notes. Yeah.
More technical stuff. So we'll talk about the cinematography. So I think, I mean, obviously it plays into a big role in this, but I just thought, like, then my head goes to, well, that makes life easier if you don't have to shoot at night at all.
Oh yeah. So, I didn't think of that. So yeah, but did they actually film this in Alaska?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see anything about where they filmed.
Yeah, because that's what. Yeah,
I'm sure. I mean, they had to go somewhere. I mean, it had to be that far north, but they had to be somewhere that looked like had the mountains and stuff to look a little bit.
Well,
like
that's what I was wondering. Because then, like, yeah, if you actually film in Alaska, then you film it at the time of the year where it's like this anyway. Or if you film it somewhere else, yeah, you just only have, I guess, half days where it's like you can only film here. We're not going to film it all at night. You know.
Well, no, but you're filming
unless it's something completely
right. You're not filming at night, but you're the indoor.
You can control it, I guess.
But like, no, but like normally the problem is like the night shoots are harder because you schedule or you're going for the golden hour, all those things, and it's like, and so you only have a small time window. No, this film we're just shooting everything midday, which means you have them.
You don't need the golden hour.
Yeah, like
Well, I like all the, which this gets more, they keep doing more with this as the film goes. And I said I like it just because it's like from his perspective and how he gets worse with his insomnia and what he is seeing or maybe not seeing. But just all the quick cuts in the editing. And it always like, I imagine it's like, it's stuff that Will is thinking about in that moment because it'll cut back to something that previously happened, or I mean, I really like the which they keep doing, the like blood showing up on the carpet. That was cool. But there's a lot of really quick cuts, and like I said, by the end of the film, it's like there's a lot more of them.
Yes,
to go, and I like that anyway in a film. Don't know if that was another. We talk about trends a lot when films come out. If that was like a thing in the early 2000s. I want to say 7 does it too, though. And, I have a, that's later in themes, but I have a parallel to Fight Club also, which I guess was a little later. But I would have been only a couple years before this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but so I like all the real quick cuts. I think also just in general, we talk about this a lot too. I really like how older films look, and the what do we narrow it down to? I think we talked about it, I think on the TV pod or maybe the film pod recently, but where I brought up like how I don't like how a lot of modern films look now, especially Netflix films. I think a lot of it has to do with the lighting, right? It's like stuff is like overlit now, and I love how like this film, like it's like looks great and it's darker. It's and you know what I mean. It's like I think I used the comparison of because I saw a YouTube video about it. It was comparing the original Devil Wears Prada to the new Devil Wears Prada, which was mid 2000s, so only a few years after this film, and then the way it looks, the new one, and it's like
the way it's lit.
Yes,
very different.
Specifically, and it's like the original looks so much better.
I wonder if now I'm kind of curious because I wonder
if the video.
I wonder also if the new film was shot digitally. The old one, I'm sure, was film, but the new one,
yeah, that's true.
And that I think
that
does make a difference too in the way things are interpreted. But
I mean, that's not the example because we can talk about Villeneuve or anyone else or even Nolan shooting digitally, but it's like it can still look.
Oh yeah,
great.
No, yeah. But
obviously, again, it goes down to the lighting a lot.
Because of the lighting in the grading, but then
sure, yeah.
But I guess what you have, which I don't want to say things I'm not 100% sure, but like what I would think you have is you have so much more data and maybe even dynamic range in digital nowadays that you can push things in a different direction if you want to.
Yeah.
And so you can make things look different. Whereas like film, one, you know, there's not as much you can do in post with it, right? Like there is, but like it does have a certain limitation. And so then you know, it's just how you light it and it has to be done in camera more. And so I think there's probably some of that too.
But he could have shot this digitally, right?
In 2002?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, yes, but it still wasn't very common.
Because, I mean, I like the way the film looks regardless, but it didn't look like really grainy as far as film. I couldn't really tell on that front as much if it was film or not.
The film doesn't always have heavy grain.
The lens depends on everything else.
Yeah, it depends on the stock of the film, like what kind of film you're using. Yeah, it was probably shot on film, honestly, because at that time it was not common to shoot digital. Because you think like the prequel Star Wars movies were like breaking grounds by shooting completely all digital. Yeah, and those came out around like late 99 and then like early 2000s, and that was like some of the first films, feature films that were like, especially big feature films that were shot.
But then at the same time, the Lord of the Rings was film, right?
Yes. Yeah. Lord of the Rings was 100% film.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm assuming in general you do like the way this movie looks. I don't know. It's just something I was thinking about.
I think especially all the close-up shots. That I have notes about that. Yeah.
And again, as we go, like, because he gets such good cinematographers, Nolan, like, that's not going to be an issue with any of his films. Like the thing I was talking about with like a lot of modern films now,
right? Because
of the cinematographers and obviously the way he wants the film to look too. It's all of them look great. Even most recent Oppenheimer, you know. Yes. Well, that's all IMAX now though, right? As the camera sees.
Yes.
So he's using the huge, at least for Oppenheimer, and I don't remember Tenet.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll talk about it when we get there, but. And obviously, Odyssey, he definitely did, which is crazy.
But I think technically there's digital cameras that can do IMAX now. Look at that size. So
I just see the behind the scenes, and it's the massive one that they're lugging around.
I don't know, but on the same time, I say that, but also I don't even know that Nolan's ever shot anything digital.
Oh, maybe not. I don't know.
I think he's all film all the time guy.
Interesting. Okay.
I think he got a big enough reputation by the time that most studios would be like, for cost reasons, we want to do. Yeah. But then, I don't know.
That's interesting then, yeah, if that's the case. I just figured at some point he switched, but yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
Cool.
We talked about the fog scene. That was really cool. And the visuals for the Insomnia, sleep deprived. like it's like the blurred focus, the intrusive lighting, the fragmented editing that you were talking about, really distorting for the viewer to kind of, again, like we were talking about, the viewer is kind of in the perspective of their lead guy.
That reminds me also, speaking of lighting, one of the scenes later on when he's really feeling it and he's in his room and Maura Tierney, don't remember her name, comes in and he's like, it's so bright in here. And then she's like, no, it's not. And then she flips on the lights. That's just a great moment.
Yeah.
And then he basically like tells her everything that he's done at that point. There's a scene, I think, after that, but that's just a great moment. And then by the end, I do remember Robin Williams saying to him, he's like, hey, you almost beat my record. He's like, what do you say? By like 12, it'll be 6 or 7 days, essentially almost a week of no sleep. And he's like, you almost beat my record, or you did beat my record. That was at the very end, yeah.
Again, the framing of the character moments, people at the time, like, oh, great. The lighting on those, great. And that stuff felt very Nolan.
Yeah, did.
Even though, and which was interesting because, like, again, watching it, I was like, okay, visually it feels like Nolan, like that, like the way he likes the character moments to be, but then, like I said, story, it didn't feel like it. And then, of course, I could look later. I'm like, oh, he didn't help write it. But then the interesting thing, this is Robin Williams' character. They always, there was like a calmness the way they shot him. Like the camera was like still, and when he would be talking, and then he was always in controlled, calm voice as well, which then just made him more creepy. And just, I thought, like, it was interesting, the performance is there, but then also the camera work is supporting that, or vice versa, whatever. It's all intentional for it to be.
It makes the character even better because, especially with Robin Williams playing him, because he always has that like calm, like warmness to him. Even the way he like smiles a lot, or when he's talking. So then it's like, it makes it, to your point, more creepy.
So, all right. So then the score. I got nothing on this.
Okay. I mean, I don't really have much. It's there's not a ton in this either. I do really like how dark and atmospheric the tone is. Very, very great for what is being depicted on the screen. So he did an awesome job with that. But again, no really standout moments, but it is good all around though. Very effective.
Cool.
I imagine we'll have a lot more to talk about when Hans Zimmer comes in.
Yeah. I mean, well,
even though this guy's been good, it's just,
I mean, he's next, right? Because of Batman. So next
one, he should come in for. I imagine. I mean, he did the rest of the Batmans. I imagine he did Batman Begins also. I don't know why he wouldn't.
Yeah.
So.
All right. A little bit of trivia. So Nolan told Time Magazine he had to deal with the lead actors who had highly different approaches. Pacino insisted on meticulous preparation. He wanted serious talks about character motivation and lots of takes. Robin Williams preferred hardly any rehearsal, but wanted many takes. And Hilary Swank wished to do just a few takes to stay completely focused. Nolan therefore let Pacino and Williams freely experiment and work things out together in order to get attuned to each other. Just that, like, especially
different actors' approaches.
So, I thought it was interesting because, again, he's still pretty inexperienced director at this point.
True.
I mean, I don't know how many short films, but
right.
This is only his third feature film, and he's working with, especially the two guys, Pacino,
big,
and Robin Williams, very experienced.
Yep.
Very well known. And so that, which, come with that some respect and or / ego, which I'm not saying that they're both like crazy egos, but like just, you kind of, you have your method, right? Yep. You've developed a method that's proven. And so,
plus, I imagine Nolan was just excited that he was like, oh, I got these people,
right? Well, true. Cause like even in,
I imagine he was big fans of them both.
But in Memento, he was still working with people that were not. I mean, we talked about,
Carrie Ann Moss,
and became big after,
right?
And so as that film was coming out, because literally, but probably when they were filming it, she still The Matrix hadn't even come out.
Yep.
And then even the same for the other dude, and then
Guy Pearce. Yeah. So then it's
Guy Pearce. Like
this is the first time he's filming with people that are already massive. Yeah.
And then the other note about Robin Williams, obviously he did mostly comedic roles. The same year, 1 Hour Photo came out, 2002.
I was going to mention that movie.
And that's
that
his other, so good. Where he plays a thriller.
Wait, you want to see him go even creepier? Mm-hmm. That movie. Yep. I don't know. Did you ever see it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, long time. Awesome. I mean, basically when it came out, I saw it, but
yeah.
Yeah, here we go. According to the script, Dormer was originally supposed to survive at the end. Mm-hmm. He'd be helped away from the lake house by Ellie. This ending was filmed but cut as the film's conclusion was ultimately changed. So
he wanted to make it more Nolan.
Yep. And then here, the phone conversation in which Finch describes murdering Kay was scripted entirely from Dormer's perspective. Again, as we talked about a bunch, like everything's from his perspective, focusing on his reactions to the confession. However, Robin Williams asked if he could film him explaining it himself, to which Nolan agreed. So he wanted to play it out regardless.
Okay.
Upon seeing Williams' performance, Nolan found it to be so human and strangely understandable that he felt the need to remind the audience of the heinousness of Finch's crime. During editing, he intercut Finch's calm confession with quick shots of Kay being beaten to death as contrast. And then in the commentary on the DVD, Nolan described the final result as chilling. So
that's awesome. He's basically like, Robin Williams, you were too good.
Yes.
You crushed it too much.
That I had to put you in.
Yeah, I had to throw in other stuff.
But this is kind of our point earlier, talking about like finding more moments to get these two guys in kind of together. And this is they're on the phone, but still you're getting their performances off each other. But also what I love about this is what I love about what I do is like, it is such a collaborative creative process. Like you look at this and you're like, even in the early stuff and the other stuff they're talking about where they each have their own approaches and they're doing like, it's, everyone's working together to try to make the best thing they can make. And, you as the director, you're constantly getting those ideas and feedback. There's also, I guess I didn't put in there was the one about Pacino's assistant had the original script was he was from Portland, Oregon or something.
Okay.
And it suggested be LAPD would be better. And then there was like this whole, and they changed it basically because of that. It was just like his assistant like suggested it. So it's like there's no, and I mean, at least Nolan works this way, and I try to work this way. Anybody can have an idea. There's no bad idea, like
best idea wins.
And then like if it's a better idea, you're like, great, thank you. It doesn't matter how experienced and inexperienced you are, because the goal is just to make. And then that you as the director, you're the steward of that.
Yep.
And then you just, So anyway,
those are definitely the best. The directors that actors want to be with the most, because I've seen interviews with actors talking about like specific films they didn't like doing because the director was opposite, where it's just like the ego is massive. He's like, no, my way goes always, and then it's like, actors want, a director that's the opposite of that, where it's just like the best idea. Doesn't matter who brings it, but if like, let's do it then, it's like, oh, it's a good idea. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Theme and our message.
So what we talked about with Will, essentially, like what justifies you being a detective or a criminal, and obviously the gray line in between that, which is like a lot of what he goes through in this film. And then this is where I mentioned I see the parallels of this film with Fight Club, which was again only that Fight Club was 99, with the themes of insomnia and what happens to you psychologically when you can't sleep over a long period of time, because that movie, especially the beginning of Fight Club, you see it a lot. Mm-hmm. And there is even these quick cuts. There's even things which they didn't do in this, which was interesting, but like in Fight Club, they literally would like superimpose in like one frame. Mm-hmm. You remember that? Mm-hmm. Like of, yeah, which is just awesome. And it's like, I guess at a certain point, like it's never been this bad for me, thankfully, with not sleeping. But like, I guess at some point you would maybe eventually start seeing things that aren't there mm-hmm. with lack of sleep. So
I believe it.
Yeah.
I just put, it's about moral erosion, guilt and exhaustion, and self-preservation slowly distort a person's sense of right and wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so final thoughts about this movie, this film.
Well, I think I liked it more than you, but either way, definitely check it out. I was excited going into this just because this was like the only one I had no previous knowledge of, and just knew the two actors that are in it. I was like, this is gonna be sick. Mm-hmm. Which obviously that really helped, in my opinion. Those main two actors definitely made the movie better. I mean, if you're a Nolan completist anyway, obviously you should watch this. Just like we said, watch Following.
Watch the film Following.
The film Following, yeah. Because Memento we talked about last week was that was more well known, and we had seen that one not in a long time, but we had seen. But
right.
Yeah. So you still recommend it though?
Yeah, I think it's still a good movie.
Yeah.
I think you just liked it a little more than I did.
But I also like this genre more than you.
Correct.
Yeah. Speaking of that, actually, I talked to our dad about this because
he likes this kind of. He likes this genre.
And I asked him, I was like, "You should watch this one if you hadn't seen it," because I was going through Nolan films and there was more than I thought that he hadn't seen, which was weird. I thought he'd seen a lot of them.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird because I was like, we've been wanting him on the pod forever, but so I talked about this one. I was like, you should watch this one because dad loves detective and psychological thriller, and he's like, oh yeah, I saw that one. I was like, oh, so you've seen that one?
But he hasn't seen has he seen Inception or Interstellar?
I don't remember. There was one. I think it was Interstellar. He was like, which is like space. I know.
That's like probably he would be his, out of all the films.
Exactly.
That would probably be his favorite.
That's the one I said to him. I was like, Dad, you had to have seen that one. But yeah, so it was just funny. He was like, oh no, I've seen Insomnia, which is very much, Dad, that's like all Dad watches is detective thrillers. So yeah.
And sci-fi.
So that's what I know.
And then
he did see Tenet though.
Yeah.
I do remember that. But yeah, anyway, there was a few I was surprised. Interstellar is one of them.
Yeah, I could see him not liking Tenet.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
Yeah, because it's not about the.
It's not sci-fi as much.
Yeah. But yeah, Interstellar. It would be if he. Yeah. What's he doing with his life? Yeah. My final thoughts. It's a really, really good film of this genre. That, not quite up there with the greats in this genre, but like just below it, I would say. And
it'd be interesting when we finish, like thinking about like what's the worst Nolan movie, because none of them are bad, but you know what I mean. Like if you wanted to make a tier list of them.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I probably put Memento.
Following was still really good too.
Yeah, Following. I mean, but I'd probably just because it was hard to follow. It was the least polished. Like it was like there, but like it wasn't really. Yeah. Anyway, but like I probably would put Memento maybe a little bit above this one, just because I think it just had more of the Nolan-esque things, right? Like it just felt, and this one feels the least Nolan of all his movies.
Yeah. Also, in the comments, let us know if you've seen the original, because I'm curious about it.
And
Original
then,
Insomnia.
obviously, let us know your thoughts about this film, if you've seen it or not. If you saw the original Norwegian film, you can do that in multiple ways. You can leave a comment, DM, or you can email us at feedback@screentimepod.com. Of course, please like, subscribe, follow on all the platforms. Just search for Screen Time Podcast. And those are Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And of course, always appreciate anything you have to say, and any feedback, thoughts, questions. We'll read them on the next podcast. And if you'd like, you can follow each of us on Instagram. I'm at Jay Youngbar.
And I'm at Jared Youngbar.
All right. We will see you guys next time as we continue our journey to the Odyssey.